Greetings and welcome one and all. We're here at BabsCon 2017. And we just saw the two-part, if you want to call it two-part Season 7 premiere.
It was not a two-part.
It was two separate episodes that had maybe a little bit of connection between them. Little bit. But we certainly had a lot of fun.
It was good.
Oh my goodness.
I enjoyed it.
Watching his expressions during these two episodes. How many times his face just lit up like, no way! That was fantastic.
So people tell me, it's like whenever with one of my friends, it's like whenever they show me something, it's like they prefer watching my reactions instead of watching.
You have really big eyes. And your expression is huge.
Anyways,
first episode was called Celestial Advice, and the basic premise of it is, of course, just after the season finale for season 6. The 4 have come back, and they have this big awards ceremony a la Star Wars style. And
I thought that was the Return of Harmony, Season 2. That was all Star Wars.
Yeah, that was all.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, but still here, it's like, okay, they're given like something pretty much equivalent to the Equestrian Medal of Honor.
Yes.
Yeah. And none of the main 6 ever got this?
Well, they've had their own celebrations.
Yeah.
They've had their own...
yeah, but this is like
they've had their own stained glass windows.
Yeah, but I forget the name of this medal, but there's a medal that's the highest honor a civilian can get.
Well, it could be this is Twilight's thing, because this is her kingdom. Maybe this is her own invention?
That's a good point. Maybe this was something Twilight came up with all on her own.
Hey, don't put it. Yeah, wouldn't put it past her.
You know, and that would make sense. At any rate, the main basic premise of the episode is Twilight is wondering what to do now that Starlight has gotten to a point in her lessons and her teaching where she can kind of go out on her own and she can kind of go to the next level. And so Twilight is debating within herself, oh, what can I do? I've got like 3 years of lessons planned, but she already knows how to do that and that kind of thing. And I love the interaction between Twilight and Discord.
Yes. It was because of Discord that Twilight had this conundrum to begin with. And you'd think that Discord was doing something like what he did at the beginning of Season 4. He was, in his own Discord way, trying to teach Twilight a lesson, trying to show that she's not so knowledgeable as she thinks she is. You'd think that that was the case, and it played it up pretty seriously throughout most of it, until near the end when it's all like Discord was saying, I was hoping that Starlight and I could be roomies. And that still fits so well with Discord.
Yeah, because he just wanted to in his own Discordy way to try and push someone into getting something that he wanted.
Yeah. The manipulation was high with this one.
Yeah, and that's what I love about Discord. It's like even though he's been reformed, he's still a trickster.
He is. He's a major troll.
I enjoyed the antics. It was very, very Discord antics. He came out. They were awarding the medal to him. He literally separated his neck to put the medal on and put it back on.
That was awesome.
Fun work for the animators. It really is.
That's great.
And then it was immediately followed up with Luna attempting to put a necklace over thorax.
So he's got
these antlers out to here.
And it's like PewDiePie's like, almost, wait a minute, a little bit to the left. Ah! Yeah, you got it.
For a moment, I was thinking that the neck would, the string would snap.
Yeah.
And they just have to tie it together down here anyways, and then it would be just fine.
Yeah, I was kind of afraid that she was gonna fail, and then she'd go off into a brooding session.
Oh, Luna's not that bad.
No,
Come on.
Excuse me.
But I did like that when she finally did get it on. She gave Celestia this like, I got it on, didn't I?
You wouldn't put it past Luna. Do Princess's Dream of Magic Sheep would like to have some words with you.
Oh, shut up. She's learned her lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides, any brooding that she did, it was all on her own. She tried to keep it like out of the public eye.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
which actually
we're not talking
feeds
about
into what we're going to discuss in the second episode, but we're not quite there yet.
Yes. So anyway, the awards happen. Twilight kind of goes into panic mode, a very, very OCD Twilight.
Classic Twilight.
That is my favorite form of Twilight.
Classic
there.
Twilight.
Yes. And she goes into this whole panic mode, trying to figure out what she is going to teach Starlight next. And then she finally hits on the idea, I should go ask Princess Celestia. And the second part of this episode starts, and it gets like really, really cool.
We get to see spells where all your fantasies start to be projected as if they were real.
Take that from what you will.
In fact, Celestia had a line that I am probably going to remember. Remember the line?
Which one? I can.
There's a lot.
Okay,
There were a lot of good
lines.
lines.
No, she was talking about it being in fantasy. Anything you do in a fantasy is okay, or something. I don't remember the exact wording. I have to go look it up.
Yeah.
But she's saying this is your dream, this is your creation, this is your hypothetical situation. So you do what you want in here so that you can test the grounds the way you want.
And Spike gets to be snarky all the way.
Yes, thank you. It's like Spike said his best when he's the. It's like, okay, I'm the voice of reason here. You should probably do this, and no one's listening. Okay.
In both episodes, Spike was acting that way.
Yes, that's when Spike said his best. The snarky voice of reason. It's like, well, okay, I know where this is going. Just when he's genre savvy. It's like I remember when during the second episode when he was. It's like, I'm gonna try and teleport something. He's like, yeah, I'm leaving.
But by far,
I'm going to be way over here at the end of the hall. Okay, go ahead.
But by far my favorite part of all this, after Twilight goes through all these fantasies and is just thinking about the worst case scenarios, which is what I do constantly, Celestia breaks out into a laughing fit. She just starts laughing her head off like we have never seen before. And
then they go to a commercial break.
it's like, no! But I think my favorite line by far was from the Royal Guards when we were having a flashback of how Celestia felt the same way with Twilight and telling her she needs to go off on her own. And Celestia is pacing back and forth. She's like, what if she gets attacked by a Manticore? Or what if she doesn't make any friends? And here are the two Royal Guards behind her going, should we say something?
Should we say something?
You in particular were enjoying it a little too much. Because you've been complaining about the Royal Guard since day one. I think that was the first time you legitimately enjoyed their company.
Yes. I guess I don't know. I guess the old core was better.
Okay.
Military joke.
But that very scene kind of got me wondering, do my higher peers think the same way I do when it comes to, say, certain projects or events or people I'm looking after? Do they worry about the same things I worry about with my friends?
Probably.
And then we all just laugh about it?
Yeah. Probably. See, I really admire. Okay. I've already admired Celestia, but I admire the way that she handled this situation. She could have taken Twilight, sat her down and said, okay, you know what? This is what you need to do, and all of this worry-warding that you're doing is ridiculous. Don't do it. But she didn't treat it that way. Instead, she allowed Twilight to go through her own learning process, to go through the same foibles that she did, and she allowed her to get to the point where she was just like freaking out and worrying. And it was only at that point that she decided to break the tension, laugh her head off and say, no, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just letting you know this is just what I went through as well. And then she shared her own story. And that cleared the whole thing up for Twilight, allowing her to go through the situation, allowing her to go through the suffering and the worry, but then finding out at the end, it's okay.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this particular portrayal. It's like Celestia is fallible. She is not perfect, and she has her own struggles. She has her own insecurities. But in the end, she still pushes herself to do the right thing. It's like even there was like a quick moment where she saw like the mare and the moon again, and then she's like, "Darn it, I know what I have to do."
Yep.
Because she's clearly made that decision before, and it kind of makes me wonder, did she have a mentor back in the day that showed her this stuff, or did she just learn from the circumstances because she had to deal with her sister?
There are plenty of people.
Oh yes, that would be a great thing to expand upon.
Let the crafting begin.
Now, people in the comments, I can already tell, are going to start writing about, but in the comics, you get to see this, this, and this. Comics are not canon to the show. Show is canon to the comics, but comics are not canon to the show.
Unfortunately.
So, unfortunately, we don't have that set in stone yet for any of the comic stuff. But what I really, truly, genuinely admired most about this first episode, Celestial Advice, this, more than any other episode in the entire series, focuses on how a parent needs to move on when their child has shown that they have grown to a point. And this is more like a parent-child relationship lesson that what other episode even comes close to trying to teach that kind of lesson?
And not just from, because normally the lesson is seen from the child or the student's perspective, but this gives us a rare glimpse into the mentor or teacher's perspective, or like you say, the parent's perspective,
which you could relate to more than anyone else in this room. He's got 4 boys of his own.
But getting that parent's perspective, I think it applies to me a lot more because I have a young man who's about to turn 18, is about to go into college, and is about to start doing the things which will move him out of our home and into his own place. That's something I need to start thinking about.
And Celestia's words about, I was afraid of letting her go.
Yeah.
That was the basis for all the fears that kept coming up. And I imagine that you are feeling a lot of that with your oldest, even now. Even now, you're going to watch him go off on his own and be independent. Start going to college, be in an apartment.
His lips are quivering right now.
He's trying to hold it back, but my goodness.
No. Okay, for those of you who don't know, my son Max, excellent artist, you should go look him up. It's great to have him around the house. It's great to watch him do his art, watch him go through growth, and we're actually working with him right now to get his Eagle Scout Award, apply for colleges, get scholarships, and all that kind of thing. I'm proud of him. He's a good kid. I know it's coming up. There is a point where he will leave the house and he will no longer be a permanent resident, and that's not something I've gone through before, and so I'm not really sure how to approach it.
So I'm sure that you really felt for Celestia's words more than anyone else, and probably that entire audience watching that today.
It really applies to me, yes.
Okay. I admire that a show like My Little Pony is talking about that in a very genuine way. And I hope that a lot of kids and teenagers and even adults who watch this episode will be able to learn from that experience that these fears about this child I've been looking after or this student I've been looking after, being a mentor or being a parent or even being an older sibling, I have all these fears about they're going out on their own, they're going to make bad choices, they're going to get hurt. And Celestia, when she said that it's all about being afraid of letting go, that really hit home. And bravo to the writer who came up with that.
Yeah.
I love to see those kind of lessons in MLP.
Very good.
Yeah. It's okay. Just seeing Celestia finally get and yes, I know I'm going to be really spoiled right now and say she wasn't given her own episodes in the same way that Luna has, but at the same time, I'm so freaking grateful that we finally got a very great portrayal of Celestia. We finally got a really great portrayal of how multifaceted she is. She's a great caring, she's compassionate, but she also has a really big sense of humor, yeah. And yeah, sometimes she can be misunderstood. I was like, remember when she was laughing and then it just cut to commercial break? It's like, yeah. I'm sure everybody had it in their mind. It's like, oh, Celestia is awful.
What?
No, I wasn't.
I could already tell, even from that moment, she's about to talk about her own past, raising Twilight.
Yeah,
I could tell.
But I'm pretty sure some vindictive anti-Celestiaites.
Yes. See, that was my thought as well. She was laughing, and you know, the laughing did get a little raucous, and I thought that's probably why Twilight was saying, "What the heck is going on?" But I knew immediately. Celestia was saying that she was basically expressing her own in her own way, the humor of it all, that she saw so much for herself in Twilight, and she was just about to do the big reveal, and which was it was appropriate to do a commercial break at that point, but everybody was like, ah.
These splits. It's like, have you noticed that they're progressively getting more and more awful?
Like bad
They're
timing.
like the cliffhangers.
Yes.
I hate
These
cliffhangers.
cliffhangers are getting worse and worse.
Yeah, that's all marketing, though. You're trying to make it so these people are hooked. No, I have to see the next, and so I'm not going to change the channel while I watch these stupid commercials.
Yeah, but this is the first thing. It's like usually with these cliffhangers, it's usually something physical, like a danger has happened. But this is like one of the first times where it's like, wait a minute, Celestia is laughing. It's why is she laughing?
Right.
And see, and I'm trying to make it so nobody wants to change the channel, and everybody will sit impatiently but watch these stupid little kids' toy commercials.
Most people in the audience were just making fun
Yeah.
of those commercials.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes, I believe that there was like these little dolls that you roll up and just oh my god.
Don't even talk about it. Okay,
They were
episodes. We're talking
Yes.
about episodes. Okay.
Yeah.
They look like Chara. What the fudge?
All right.
All right.
So, and even at the end of this very touching, genuine, even serious at times episode, you know what they do? They bring Pinkie Pie in with this giant vacuum. They're like, and she does her thing.
I love it.
So they end this great story with just a moment of lightheartedness. And again, that's another great strength for MLP
Still
throughout
just
the
like-
entirety of its run.
I know this. Honestly, this is up there in the top 5 of my favorites.
For the entire series, really?
Yes,
Wow, okay.
This is up there in the top 5.
And there's no Celestia bias here at all, of course.
Of
Oh
course
no!
there isn't.
Oh no! I fully admit there is Celestia bias.
Okay.
But still, it's like that. Just the lesson, the humor. It's like so many characters got a chance to shine. So many characters got great interactions. It's like it was good. It was a good thing for Twilight, and just the maturity of the moral and
The banter between Starlight and Trixie.
and
Oh, no, wait,
or even the little what ifs when they're going to the changelings or the dragons
Yes,
Yes.
or summoning Cthulhu.
Yeah.
I saw that preview weeks ago, and I was thinking, are they doing time travel again?
Oh no!
I thought they were going to do time travel again. The way that was set up, it really looked like it was going to be... No, it was all Twilight's fantasy.
It was a hypothetical.
Bravo on that. That was still fun to watch.
Yeah.
And speaking of time travel, I think that's a great segue to talk about the second
episode.
Okay.
And Trixie's line of, oh, well, if anything goes wrong, you could just time travel and erase that mistake. It's like, what? What?
Wait, should we wait for Lightning to get back?
Oh, she'll get back here when you get back here. Okay.
She's taking a bio.
Second episode, I believe, is called All Bottled Up.
Yes.
It's
They are a little too on the nose on how they showed All Bottled Up. I was hoping they'd be just a little more subtle when they were trying to represent what this meant. But the lesson is still sound. It's still very well done.
Yeah, I just thought upon something, and I don't know if it really applies or not. When you say all bottled up, is that a parallel reference to the fact that they had this adventure? The main 6 went into this escape the room scenario. Were they bottled up as well?
Not really.
All right, never mind.
Not really.
That was stupid. Okay.
But yes, banter between Starlight and Trixie in both episode 1 and especially in episode 2.
I don't know. It's like I will say, like, I did love the episode, but I feel like the oblivious and nastiness on Trixie was turned up a little bit for this episode.
I think they are dialing it up a little bit because they're hoping to make her a more regular character, and I'm like, Trixie's gonna be a permanent resident of Ponyville now, isn't she?
Mm.
And this all coming from a character who was supposed to be a one-off from season 1. How did that happen?
Do we know that she was supposed to be a one-off?
Oh yeah, she was actually originally supposed to be a male character too.
Oh my.
In the original writing up those episodes, Ghostbusters in season 1, Trixie was supposed to be a one-off, and Trixie was originally written to be a male character. They changed that later on before they started animating everything, and now with these two first episodes of season 7, Trixie seems like she's a regular resident of Ponyville. I mean, how long before people start mentioning, oh, well, Trixie's now part of the main 8. It's not the main 7 anymore. It's not really not the main 6 anymore. Is that going to be a thing? Is Trixie going to keep coming back on a regular basis, or is this just going to be like 2 or 3 episodes per season kind of thing? What do you guys think about that?
Will we touch on an episode where Trixie is, in fact, maybe she doesn't necessarily have a home and that's why she travels because she has that wagon? Are we going to touch on that maybe?
Yeah.
As to,
I am a
what
little.
Trixie plans to do?
I don't know. It's like I'm a little concerned. It's like it's just a concern at this point, but I feel like the staff is kind of gravitating away from the main 6.
I'm noticing that.
They don't want to overuse the characters if they don't have great stories to tell. And if that's the reasoning behind it, I can understand that. They're going to wait until they have a really fantastic story or setting to put them in before they feel that they're needed. I'm okay with that. But if they keep that up for too long, people are going to start to complain. Why are we focusing so much on background and secondary characters? Bring back the main 6 for more of this.
Who is this story supposed to be about in the first place?
It keeps changing.
Yeah.
Originally, during season 1, Twilight was kind of shoehorned into every episode, regardless of whether or not she really needed to be, because she had to make a letter to Celestia. Season 2, they kind of shifted more away from that because every one of the main 6 would be sending their own letters. And they're experimenting. And I have to believe that in season 7, we're still going to have main 6 episodes, but they're going to be having more focus on secondary and background characters and making them into more regular main characters.
And I was kind of hoping for that because I'm hoping for a little bit more family, life-friendly stories. Because I certainly saw some previews of Cadence, Shining Armor, and
I
saw, and there was trailers.
No spoilers!
Oh my.
He's so adamant about spoilers.
But that wasn't a spoiler.
It wasn't a spoiler. It was a
teaser.
commercial.
It was a
I
teaser.
wasn't looking at it.
He intentionally puts his head down during the commercial break whenever he sees anything that might resemble an upcoming episode. He's that dedicated about avoiding spoilers.
I only have one thing to say about that. That sounds like a personal problem.
It is a personal problem,
Okay.
and I'm very sensitive about it.
Now, I want to bring up something that I thought was rather interesting, is they had like a completely aside moment with Rarity, talking about fashion. They had this whole thing.
During the commercial break, yeah.
I love that.
They had this whole aside thing, and I don't think it's a precursor of anything. It was just a little short with Rarity, talking about the do's and the don'ts, and oh heavens, what are you thinking with fashion?
Yeah.
And the moral behind that was, whatever you do, dress the way that
Makes you
feel fabulous about yourself.
Yeah.
So, even if it's something somebody else may not like, what matters is do you feel good about what you wear?
Mm.
And I love that. I just, that's the Rarity I like.
Okay.
And this was a little short that they put during the commercial break, and
I didn't see that coming.
where did that come from? And then they were using actual assets and real voices, and then it's just like this little short one-off. And I thought, hey, bravo, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
You should see the Fresh Pinky of Ponyville promo they came out with this week.
Oh.
You remember the show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Oh, of course, yes.
The intro song.
No, I don't.
You don't remember the intro song?
Is Pinky gonna rap? Because last time that didn't go.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, no,
During
wait
this
a
promo, Pinkie Pie remade the whole Fresh Prince of Bel-Air intro sequence song with her rapping. I thought it was hot. I thought it was funny. That's a good way to do a promotion.
Give it a chance.
Even though that there have been dozens of people in the community who made those kind of PMVs years ago, I think it's nice that the actual show staff are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They're taking lessons from the Brony community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, but yeah, going back to the whole secondary characters getting more focus, it's like, and this is my kind of little theory, is like they see these secondary characters like Starlight or a Changeling or Discord or Trixie. They feel like that's new blood, that's new material, and they can produce more out of that. It's like they've had to produce like how many dozen episodes from the main 6? And it's like, this is new blood. This is new stuff that we can use.
So you're suggesting it's a cop-out.
No.
No, not really that. I'm not suggesting it's a cop-out.
I'm teasing you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just suggesting that it's like, this is... It's something new.
Yeah, it is.
But they didn't exclude the main 6 entirely.
Yes.
Second episode had this whole aside moment, which again, when Josh realized they're doing Escape the Room, his face lit up
I love Escape the Room. I have gone to almost 10 of them, and my win rate is only 66%, but they are really great. It's like there's all these different themes about them. It's like there were like several, like there was like Indiana Jones Temple of Doom theme, or there was a bank heist theme. There was a spy James Bond theme. There's all these different themes. There was a zombie apocalypse theme, which actually wasn't too good because they had all these kind of really dumb rules. But anyways, yeah, they are of varying quality. But
yeah.
I love the escape the room because it allows people to come together, bring their strengths, and bring them to. It's because people think differently. People think very differently. It's I'm gonna like the little like picture puzzles and those little slide puzzles.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
It's like I work really fast with those, and that's just kind of the way I think. And there are other people who are like visual learners. There are other people who notice patterns better.
Yeah.
And it's like when you get all those people in a room and you work together, it's just you feel so accomplished.
There's a magic that happens.
Yes, there is a magic that happens, and when you do it, and when you finally succeed, it's so much fun.
So much fun that it triggered a song that inevitably they were self-aware about because they ruined their chances of breaking their record of getting
Okay.
out.
Yes.
When they started breaking into song, I was expecting it. I mean, when do you have a season premiere that doesn't have any kind of music? That doesn't happen very often.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of deviated a bit too much from the episode's tone because they kept switching back to Trixie and Starlight.
Yeah.
And like you said, Lightning, you said this, wait a second, it was Keyframe who said that it sounded more like music that you'd hear from Equestria Girls than from MLP.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell that there was a lot of work put into it, especially with the visuals, and it was a fun beat because everybody was going along with it.
They did repeat it.
They repeated some facial expressions, but I like the fact that when they went up to the stars and they put their faces on the stars, that was interesting.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
I like that. But it really deviated from the rest of the tone of the episode itself.
Which was kind of a serious tone, even personally for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a little bit of a serious tone, but I think my problem was that this kind of exemplified the fact why I really, really don't like watching premieres in big crowds. Because people are loud.
Yes, they are.
People are loud. People are distracting, and I honestly just like to watch these episodes alone.
There is something to be said about being with a group of friends watching a brand new episode.
Yeah.
Being surrounded by hundreds of people at a convention watching an episode, it can be both a positive and a negative, because it's distracting on the negative side when people are cheering constantly for every word spoken. But it can be positive because, hey, it's rare that you get to be surrounded by so many other people who enjoy MLP as much as you do, and even more so.
This is the first time I got to experience that, and I have to say it's like 50-50 for me. I enjoy it, and I didn't like it at the same time because, yeah, like Josh said, I like to watch it alone. And especially if there's a song involved and I want to hear the beat and
I want to hear the lyrics.
Yeah, we couldn't hear half the
couldn't hear
lyrics.
And I'm
That's
like,
true.
Everybody was clapping the whole time.
Oh my
please
gosh!
don't clap. Please don't. I can't hear. Oh.
No.
So that kind of left a sour note when we were watching the song. Later on, we're going to have to watch the episode again, see if we still feel that way. But I still stand by that the song itself was maybe not the best timing
But it was
to go
still
with
catchy.
the rest of the episode's pace. But I did like how it came to an end
Yeah.
because the announcers was like, you know you can't win until you turn the key, right?
Oh.
That was good. That was great.
So
And so I think we've missed the whole episode context. The episode itself focuses mostly on Starlight and Trixie.
Yes.
How Starlight is teaching Trixie to use actual magic instead of just illusions and tricks. And so Trixie finally learns a transmutation spell. She teaches her how to change a salt shaker into a teacup. And then Trixie says, "Oh my gosh, that's so awesome!" She starts turning everything into a teacup.
That's me when I get everything right.
Yes.
Including this little cupcake, was it? That grew legs and started running away.
It was a teacup puppy, and it just kind of ran off the
And
screen.
later on in the episode, it's still there.
It's still running
Still
around.
running around.
That raises so many questions about what they use magic for in Equestria. Wow.
Didn't Twilight turn a frog
Wrong into an orange, yes.
Yeah.
You have to wonder if it's still an orange, even to this day.
Is it rotting?
Oh, no.
Okay.
It raises so many questions. Ugh.
At any rate,
That's a,
Starlight is trying to teach Trixie real magic. The main six go off to do their escape the room thing. And Starlight assures them, yes, we'll be fine. You know, everything will be great. And then Trixie comes up with the line that just kind of made me, oh boy. She said, "Don't worry, if anything breaks, Starlight will just use her magic to go back in time and fix the problem."
Guys, are we quite finished with poking fun at Starlight's past? I mean, I'm kind of getting tired of that now. That's like...
yeah, it's
Starlight was getting tired of it. That's kind of the point of the episode.
Yeah, I
point of
think,
the
well,
episode.
yeah, it's like there are a lot of people in this community who adamantly hate Starlight Glimmer, and they keep, and at the same time, yeah, it's like they kind of keep bringing it up. It's like, oh my gosh, Starlight Glimmer was awful. She was horrible. She should have deserved so much more punishment.
And a part
That's
me
kind
agrees
of
with
some
that.
of these complaints being brought to life in the show.
Yeah.
What that would do to a character.
So just have it, just keep bringing it up. It's gonna make them angry, and then they're probably gonna relapse.
And at this point, that's basically what's happening. Starlight Glimmer is getting notoriously angry, and her magic is expressing that. But rather than talk it out or let it out, she bottles it up. And for me personally, that expresses a lot of internal conflicts that I have. Because when I get angry and stressed out, I do tend to bottle it up and shove forward, because I was kind of raised in a situation where actions speak louder than words. If you got a problem, deal with it. So I bottle it up and I try and deal with it, and sometimes it will subside. But then if I get too much, keeps going on, too much build up, too many mistakes from somebody, too much, oh God, Trixie, why are you doing this? It builds up, it builds up, it builds up. And so much symbolism I felt was going on in this episode.
There were pretty good parallels they were bringing up, but I think they were just a little too on the nose with the parallels. Maybe if they were just a little more subtle about it, not quite talking about it quite so specifically. I like it when the show is a little more subtle when they're trying to say, hey, if you do this kind of thing, this is what's going to happen. Instead of just actually saying, hey, I did this, this is what happened.
Well, at the same time, it's like there's this trope called anvilicious, which is basically, yeah, it's an anvil that was dropped on your head. An anvil of morality was dropped on your head, but sometimes some anvils need to be dropped.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you there, Doc.
All right.
I agree that the whole bottle thing, you know, they talk about bottling up your emotions, and they used a literal bottle, and she took her emotions, put them in the bottle, and put the stopper on it. Okay. Cliche, yes.
Yes.
However, it shows the process that people go through when they bottle up these emotions. You could slowly see Starlight deteriorating throughout the episode.
Yeah.
The reasoning behind every single action, that was great. I love that.
She was getting tired. She was getting worn out. She was getting wrinkles under her eyes. Her hair was falling out.
It's almost like she was growing apathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, and she was. The more she bottled it up, the less energy she had, the less ability she had to cope. And you could see as the episode progressed, the bouts of anger were getting more and more often. They were becoming more and more frequent, and she would have to keep bottling, and finally, until it got to be so much that the bottle broke, and the anger just it went out, and then interesting thing happens.
And I can already tell people in the comments, people in the community, they're going to complain that Starlight's mind controlling again.
No, she's not.
No!
You know that's going to happen, though.
I feel like this, but here's, again, the symbolism here. When you bottle up your anger, and eventually it will happen because I can speak words on this, it will eventually explode if it's not released. And I like how the symbolism is that your anger may not just affect you, it could affect others and cause a lot of damage.
Not could. It will.
Yeah. So
Yeah, anger's contagious.
I've had that experience before where I will keep it anonymous, but I've had exploded on a friend before, and it wasn't even her fault. And I ended up regretting it and pulling it all back and realizing that I need to go talk to someone and release it. So, yeah, because if you don't, you're going to explode and you're going to hurt people. And it's the worst thing you can do.
And one of the things that, another aspect of this lesson here, one of the reasons why Starlight was bottling up all the anger is because she didn't want to show weakness to her friend Trixie. And then she thought, if I get mad at Trixie and start going off on her, I may lose her as a friend. And at the same time, I think by the end of the episode, Trixie, when Starlight told her this, Trixie said, "No, it's going to take a lot more than a few angry words to lose me as a friend." And to be honest, I think that's true in a lot more cases than people think. It is so much better if you have some problem, if you have something you disagree with. How much better would it have been had Starlight sat down with Trixie and said, this is what happened, and I didn't like it because of this. We need to talk about this. I'm kind of feeling angry about this. Yeah. It would have been a lot better to do it that way instead of bottling it up until it explodes. And actually, I don't know if Trixie was ever in any physical danger, but
it didn't seem. It really didn't seem like it. I mean,
she almost got clobbered by a wagon being tossed at her.
Like both biceps threw the wagon at her as she was trying to run away.
Yeah, it's at the same time. It's like if we look throughout the series, these ponies are hardier than they look.
They are
true.
They are.
Still,
I do want to mention that I think it was great how Trixie was portrayed for this particular lesson because she's not stupid, but she is clueless. And that's the kind of lesson that people really need to take away from this. It's not that people are intentionally trying to avoid talking to you about something or they're trying to avoid any consequences. More often than not, people just don't realize that they've done something wrong.
Yeah, I believe the trope is called innocently insensitive.
Yes.
It's like they'll insult somebody and then someone goes crying. It's like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Trixie's ego and even her cluelessness may have been dialed up a little bit in these 2 episodes, but it works. It definitely works for the lessons they were trying to teach, and I don't think it's taken too far with her character.
I think I might have to disagree with you there. She's never been this naive or egotistical before, and the way some of the lines that were portrayed, like, "Oh, it'll be fine. Nothing can go wrong with Trixie," and it's like, okay, you're starting to sound like you're talking to Twilight here almost. You're being really egotistical here. I think what they could have done better with that is maybe every now and then she would notice something's wrong with Starlight and say, "Are you okay? Did I say something wrong?" And then, Starlight just covers it up.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It's because a lot of times when people bottle up their emotions, it's like, "Hey, are you all right?" No, I'm fine. I'm completely okay. Oh, okay. And then they'll just keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, because me and Two Craig would do that all the time where I will notice if he's upset just because he goes silent. When Two Craig goes quiet, you know something's wrong because he's the most talkative of all of us.
You're being uncharacteristically hyperverbal?
Yeah,
non-hyperverbal?
You're being very quiet, Zach. Are you okay?
Right.
And then he knows that with me too, though, because if I'm not laughing or giggling every few minutes, or if I'm just quiet and I'm just like, yeah, he'll know.
I have something to say about your thoughts on Trixie
Mm-hmm.
and why she was suddenly that much more egotistical and proud and even clueless.
She was just awarded a great...
I think it has something to do with the Dunning-Kruger effect. If you know what that's about. I hope though that I'm using the right term there.
That sounds like gibberish, and I wanted to explain.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's how much you know about something and how confident you are in something. They both start out at 0, but if you look at it like a graph, that the moment you learn something, a little bit of something about a brand new subject, it goes way up.
I've seen that.
And then, as you learn more, your confidence goes down because you realize, no, I don't know as much as I thought I knew, and then eventually it starts going back up again. But during that first bit, when you first learn something brand new and you realize, oh, this is coming so easy, your confidence goes through the roof. I think that's exactly what happened with Trixie right there.
You know that
You know what?
makes
That could
sense.
The moment she realizes that her spells are not as good as she thinks she is, then it will balance out. But for that initial jump, that explains her behavior.
With the teacups, it's like she realized, oh gosh, I can do things.
She went
now.
ballistic.
Yeah.
Now, even further than that, and this is something that impressed me and actually kind of it concerned me quite a bit as well. They were trying to do a lesson. Starlight was trying to teach Trixie how to do a teleportation spell, and so she put an apple on the map table and said, okay, teleport that apple.
After Spike moved out of the way.
After Spike moved
Smart
out of
move,
the-
Spike!
out of the
Oh
line.
my gosh!
So he moved clear down the hallway and said, okay, I'm good, go ahead. Anyway, so
You know exactly what this is.
she casts the spell and and zaps and everything, and the apple stays there. But the map table completely disappears, and the whole audience was going, "Oh, this is bad." But I don't think a lot of people really they thought about how bad it is that the map table's now gone. But did they think about, oh my gosh, she's never cast a teleport spell before, and she teleported that huge stone table.
No, that was
Did
impressive.
anybody think about that?
That was extremely impressive. Her first time teleporting something, and it was a large crystal artifact table.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing like Starlight's gonna be the new mentor to Trixie, and just the line's just gonna keep going
There's so
down.
much material you could get from that. I think
was
it's a
getting
great
that
way.
vibe. I was getting that vibe.
Yes, it's gonna keep going down. Like Trixie's gonna get someone. It's like start with Celestia, then it goes to Twilight, then it goes to Starlight. Now Starlight's gonna go to Trixie.
Now, isn't that a long-term lesson?
That's great long-term
You
lesson.
This
get
is great
something, you
long-term
pay it
lessons.
forward. But anyway,
One more thing I wanted to
Go
mention
ahead.
about Spike. I like the fact that later on in the episode, without anyone even asking him, he goes into the kitchen and starts washing all these dozens upon dozens of teacups that
Yeah.
Trixie created.
continuity.
He's just doing his own thing, and it doesn't bother him in the least. And Starlight comes in, and she's panicking, and she's trying to bottle up all her anger, and Spike is like, is that a good idea? And he's just going to keep doing his thing.
I think
He's
Spike.
a lot more mature these days, don't you think?
Yeah, I think Spike's known at this point. It's like, okay, something bad's gonna happen, but it'll probably work itself out.
Well, maybe he's taking more of a Celestia approach to it, realizing this is something that they need to learn themselves, and as long as I stay out of the way of their magical mischief and
I
don't
won't
get
get
teleported
hurt.
on
I
top of
won't
the
get
castle.
hurt.
He's like, I've been living with Twilight for my entire life. This is nothing new. It's like,
Yeah.
it's gonna figure itself out.
So, fantastic openers. It
Yeah.
wasn't a two-parter like the commercials kept saying it was.
No.
It had
You
a very
lied.
light connection between the two because Twilight was setting up that Starlight was going to be on her own, and second episode immediately follows up with Starlight mentoring someone else. So that way it does have a connection, but nothing beyond that.
Yeah.
But I approve. I wholeheartedly approve. This is a great way to start a new season. It's been worth the wait.
Okay. My opinion, I agree. I had a lot of fun. They were fun to watch. Pretty good messages. I think they're very applicable, pretty much to any slice of life. And seeing Pinkie Pie doing her antics was just delicious.
I cannot wait for season 7 to continue on. I see so much material that could be used, and not for artwork, then for more fanfics and maybe even more comics. I'm already fantasizing the idea of maybe seeing more of the development of the Changeling Kingdom, because I don't care what people say, I love the look of the Changelings. I think they're beautiful, and I can only hope that they'll develop more as they go. And I'm anxious to see what their castle will look like, if they get a castle built up. And they were talking about.
That would be
I'm rambling.
awesome. That would be awesome. Anyway, so
Yeah.
okay, so yeah,
So, yeah.
first episode, Celestial Advice. Yes, there's Celestial Bias. It's in my top 5. There is Celestial Bias, but yeah, second one, all bottled up. Yeah, there were a couple inconsequential criticisms to what is on the whole a very good episode.
Certainly worth watching.
Yes.
Yep.
Go see it if you haven't. And if you haven't, you really shouldn't be watching a review where we're spoiling everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
turn it off now before you hear Elle wait.
A little late.
Yeah, you're late. Too
Okay.
late.
But we've definitely had a lot of fun here at BabsCon thus far. And I'm very eager to see what else they have in store for Season 7 and the movie that's coming out later this year.
These are coming out since you
So much fun.
I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna handle that. It's like with review, or I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do with
I
it.
have not seen a My Little Pony movie since the G1 movies, and the last one I saw was Attack of the Smooths when I was 24 years old, and it was terrible.
Oh yeah.
So
He liked it.
No, he
He
roasted
grew
it.
up on it.
I grew up on it too, and then I tried to rewatch it again now that I'm older. I don't like it anymore.
It's another one of those things where it's like you see it in your childhood, and I just can't hate it. I can't.
All right. Well, let us know what you think of all of our discussions and what you're hoping to see from the rest of Season 7 coming up. And as per usual, I am Dr. Wolf.
I'm Teric Dragon.
I am Lightning Bliss.
I'm nobody.
What?
What?
I'm
He's
Firebrand.
the Fire Joker.
Josh Scorcher.
Too many aliases.
What?
Yeah, too many aliases. And we all look forward to hearing from you.